I go to a seminar, Gary Keller goes, "What's your big why?" Well, I leaned over to the guy next to me and I go, "What did he just say?" All right, number 5, advise and create urgency. You think the Tier 1 properties thing creates urgency? Yes, you can pick. It doesn't have to be that scripted dialogue. You get to create urgency. Quickly on your page 18, is your 18 blank? Write a couple of quick numbers. This is a true story that I use with buyers, Sarah, who are waiting for prices to hit bottom. You can use it. It's a true story that happened to me. Rick Jihai, you can say, in 1989 bought his house for $292,000. Family moves in. We all move in. And 3 years later, in September of 1992, we need to refinance. We go to refinance, we get an appraisal. You wrote down 292, yes or no? Yeah, write 1989 next to it. 1992, it appraised for $232,000. Now put a line under it, the difference is $60,000 in 3 years. All right, now if I'm in front of a buyer, I say, "Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, if you had a crystal ball knowing that 3 years later they could have gotten the house for $60,000 less, would you have advised them at that time to not buy the house?" What do you think they're going to say? Yes. Yes, no, guess what? It doesn't matter. Because the story doesn't end at their answer. Whatever it is, you go, "Great, thanks for sharing. Let me continue with the story." Because Rick and his wife at the time were concerned, they went to see their CPA. True story. Sit down in front of the CPA. We go, "Look, we just had an appraisal on our house. It's worth 21% less than we paid for it 3 years ago. $60,000. Would you do the numbers for us and tell us if we made a big mistake?" You know what he said? He goes, "Well, it was 3 years ago. The mistake's done. Get past it. Move on." He goes, "No, no." We go, "No, no, no. We want to know the number." He goes, "All right, let me ask you a question." This is a CPA, not even a realtor. He said, "If you didn't buy the house, would you have been renting?" Obviously, what? Yes. All right. He goes, "What's the cheapest you could have gotten a decent home for you and your wife and your 2 kids?" I said, $1,500 a month, probably $1,800, but let's say $1,500. He goes, "All right, what's 1,500 times 12? I said, $18,000 a year. He goes, "Okay, 18,000 a year times 3 years is what?" He's writing this down, by the way. $54,000. He looks me and Marie in the eye and he goes, "That's $54,000 over 3 years that you would have paid towards someone else's mortgage." This is the CPA talk. I write out 54,000. He goes, "Now, let me look at you. I've been doing your taxes for the past 5 years. Let me look." He goes, "Yeah, it looks like you have a $24,000 a year deduction that is partially based on mortgage interest and the other on property taxes. So 24,000, he does a calculation on his calculator, and I don't know what he did. He said that equates to $6,500 a year in actual cash savings." I asked him a quick question on how he calculated that. He told me, but that's not important. He said $6,500 in cash in each year for 3 years is $19,500 in cash savings. He added the two up. If you haven't done that yet, it's $73,500. He said, "How would you realize the $60,000 loss?" I said, "I'd only realize it if I sold the house." He goes, "Right, are you selling the house?" I said, "No." He said, "All right, even if you sold the house, you realize a $13,500 positive gain." He said, "If you don't sell the house, you're still up $73,500. You still have the house. The value doesn't matter." Now, every time I've told that story to a buyer who said, "I'm sitting on the fence, I'm not sure," that buyer's got up and said, "When do we go look at houses?" When the buyer is buying as a residence, you don't tell that story to an investor because he's going to laugh at you and walk out the room. You get understanding where they're coming from. This is my residence. That's what we said. We bought this for a residence, not to go, "Oh, it went up, let's sell." You get what I'm saying?